happened that made you realize you couldn't just keep quiet anymore? I was 12 when Mr. Crow first told me he was kicking me out of his class for good. He packed up my things for me and made a show of tossing my bag onto the floor and telling me to go to the office. I was humiliated, but even more than that, I was confused. I'd never had any behavior problems and was a great student. Even got 100% in my math test the day before. But then, right as I was leaving, I saw something. My classmate Lily, Mr. Crow's daughter. She'd gotten 98% in the same test and was already packing her things to move into my seat. When I arrived at the principal's office, my parents were already there, looking ready for war. The second I sat down, the principal told us he was willing to overlook my inappropriate conduct with a first grader and not expel me. All I had to do was move class. Thankfully, my parents are no pushovers, and they grilled him demanding details about this alleged conduct. Of course, the principal folded like a napkin and couldn't provide anything. Still, he was the principal, and so he told my parents I was either moving class or he would expel me. I remember going back that day, indeed to a different class, and it's during lunch that the next strange thing happened. Lily approached me. She'd never spoken a word to me, and sometimes literally cried if we got test scores back and mine was higher. I was expecting her to gloat, but instead she looked at me with these teary eyes and said, "Please tell Mr. Crow you cheated on that test." I was taken aback. Why would I do that? Because he hits me when I'm not number one. My eyes went wide. She pulled up her sleeve and showed me the bruises. And to make it even worse, she told me Mr. Crow doesn't even give her food unless she's number one. She said she hasn't eaten in 3 days and feels like passing out. I remember hugging her and telling her we had to go to someone, but that's when she started bawling. She begged me to not tell anyone, especially the principal. She'd already tried that. It only made things worse for her. I told her we'd figure out something else instead. I gave her the rest of my lunch in secret, then wasted no time going to Mr. Crow, where I confessed to cheating. He basically leapt out of his chair with joy. That's how I found myself in the principal's office for the second time that day. My parents weren't even informed, and because I was a 12-year-old alone in the office with 2 adult bullies, they took advantage of me. They described in detail what would happen if I kept cheating, told me how they'd expel me, and full on said that the boys in the rougher schools nearby would love a girl like me. I remember going home terrified, and the first thing I did was tell my parents everything, from what Lily to what the principal both said. My mom almost had a heart attack. She started immediately emailing the principal demanding a meeting, and the next morning I woke up to my dad holding 2 lunches. Give this one to Lily, then tell her to come over to our house after school. I did exactly that. I still remember how she damn near cried when she saw that she was getting a full peanut butter sandwich to herself. After school I brought her home, where my parents let her have a hot shower. Turns out Mr. Crow didn't allow those either. Fed her and got as many details as possible. Turns out not only would Mr. Crow deny her food and lay hands on her, he'd also force her to stay awake all night studying, denying her sleep. On top of that, she wasn't allowed friends, wasn't allowed to leave the house. Her only purpose in life was to be number one in school. She told us she hasn't gone to the doctors in over a year. Last time she did, she was told she was dangerously underweight, so Mr. Crow took her home and never brought her back. My parents wanted to call CPS immediately, but Lily stopped them. I already did last year. They did nothing. She cried, explaining that when she reported it, the agent who came around was Mr. Crow's brother. He just jotted down on Lily's file that she was lying for attention and that her home was safe. Our hearts broke. We weren't sure of what to do, but after thinking about it for a minute, we came up with a plan. The very next day, my parents and I went in to meet with the principal. My mom absolutely ripped him a new one because of the comment he made to me, and even bluffed to him that I had an audio recording of it. I didn't, but he clearly bought it. His face went white and he asked us what we wanted. My parents' demand was simple: keep me in Mr. Crow's class. Nothing else. He agreed immediately. Of course, Mr. Crow was far from happy about it, but I didn't care. All I cared about was helping Lily. And over the next few weeks, I became her best and only friend. I'd bring her packed lunches, feminine hygiene products. She'd tell Mr. Crow she was going to the library after school, then come to my house where she'd shower, eat, and play video games with me. She started looking a bit brighter as time went on, all while my parents started contacting lawyers in secret. But then, just as we were getting close to compiling a legal case, the worst happened. Me and Lily were walking back to my house, and Mr. Crow followed us. He cornered us during a part of the walk that didn't have any houses or people around, and sternly told Lily she was coming with him. "Please, Dad, you're coming with me," he yelled at her. Well, that's when Lily, for the first time ever, made a decision. "No, I'm not go." Slap. Her attempt to stand up for herself was interrupted by his hand meeting her face. She fell to the ground as red started pouring out of her mouth, and he bent down to grab her arm and began pulling her away. I remember yelling after him, even hitting his leg, but he wouldn't budge. He turned back and shoved me to the floor, then proceeded to drag the unconscious Lily for a quarter of a mile back to his car. Full story on channel linked below.